Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Nikki Jordan here, your confidence concierge, and it's time for another episode of Confident Conversations. I don't know why I do that every time. It just feels good to me. I don't know why I do that every time. Hold on, y'all know where did it go? Y'all know I gotta do my theme song. Hold on, where'd it go? I don't know where it go. They trying to play with me. Here you go. God always had a theme song.
What's wrong with being? What's wrong with
Hey.
What's wrong with being confident?
Yeah. All right. So ain't nothing wrong with being confident, y'all. I'm super excited about this episode of Confident Conversations. I don't know if y'all saw it on there, if you can see it, but this one is called the Disney discussion, and y'all, it's gonna get a little real. It's gonna get real. And to do that, I actually brought in a special guest. Okay, I brought in a special guest. All right, she's a speaker, she's a wellness advocate, she's a doula. She all the things. Anything you need for your health, she got you. Okay, her name is Danielle Anderson. Danielle Anderson, come on up in the building, ma'am. Come on. Hey, what's up?
Hello,
look at me.
to be here.
I've been doing that my whole life. I just brought you on in. Look at me go.
I'm so excited. You did it. I'm so happy to be here.
So before we get into the talk tonight, because it's gonna get good, why don't you tell the people who you are and kind of what you do, and I'll allow you introduce yourself some more.
Yes, I am Danielle Anderson. You read my my byline. I'm a speaker, a wellness advocate, and a doula. So in all that I do, I recognize that people expend a lot of energy, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, to do their jobs, raise their kids, have a family, just live, and can often feel depleted, potentially headed towards burnout. And so my hope is to come alongside people in various stages of life and offer them practices and encouragement to help them to rest and restore, to help them to know and experience the abundance of life that God has made available, and to grow as agents of healing in their circles of influence. So all that I do kind of falls under that umbrella. So as a doula, I'm helping people in various stages of pregnancy, maybe prenatal or postpartum, offer wellness workshops. I teach yoga and fitness classes. So I do a lot of things in this wellness space.
Yo, and let me tell you, I've taken one of her yoga classes. First of all, I've never done yoga before. Thought about it one time and then I rethought it. But I did a restorative yoga. Is that right, Danielle? Restorative yoga. And I was like, and she was like, no, just try it. You know, it's not all the posing. It's this, that. She explained it. And I was like, all right, girl. And so I went, y'all, it was so good. It was so good. It was so amazing. You did an amazing job teaching it. You did amazing leading it. I didn't feel awkward or uncomfortable or in any kind of way, especially speaking as, you know, like plus size women, we easily be like, all of that. But I felt great. And it was amazing. And I felt rested. It was restorative.
And that is a goal. I'm so glad that was your experience.
Yes. Okay, so tonight, though, we're not talking about yoga.
No.
We definitely ain't talking about no doulaing, even though the people are waiting for me to make an announcement, but we definitely ain't talking about that. Okay, so tonight, y'all. So first, let me tell you, I met Danielle back in April. I don't know if that was the first time we met. Was that the first time we actually met?
Yeah.
Okay, first time met in person, but I already knew who she was because this is Dr. G's sister. So most of y'all have heard me talk about Dr. G, and she's my speaker coach. She's my mentor. Been knowing her a long time, so I've always heard about the illustrious Danielle. And so I finally got to meet her back in April. Y'all know I got my green light yesterday because to announce I'm a public speaker in this Next Level program. And Danielle, you've done the Next Level program as well.
I am. I'm an alumni as well. Yes.
You are an alumni, so you know how amazing it is. And so I got that green light, did that yesterday. But before that, we went on what's called an elite mastermind retreat in April. And that's where me and Danielle met finally face-to-face in person. And we're doing all the things. We're having fun. That's why I did the restorative yoga. And then Danielle says like something crazy to me. She said, I don't even know how we actually got on it. I think you were singing. You were singing.
I was probably singing Part of Your World.
Yes, she was singing Little Mermaid and knew all the words, by the way. Shout out. Knew all the words. And then, so of course, I love Disney. So we start having this Disney discussion. Okay. And I said something about one of my favorites, which is Beauty and the Beast. Y'all. And up until this moment, I really like this woman. But then she said something to offend my whole world.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to tell them what you said? You want me to say it?
You can say it.
She said, I didn't really like that one because I'm not down with the Stockholm Syndrome. What? Excuse me? So I was like, what? Absolutely not. And this is not the first time I heard this argument. So first of all, for those who doesn't know what Stockholm Syndrome is, I'm going to put it across the thing. Okay. Stockholm Syndrome is a coping mechanism to a captive or abusive situation. People develop positive feelings toward their captors or abusers over time. And basically, it's like they said, it's a way for them to cope, right? So that's Stockholm Syndrome. And she was saying that my precious Belle has Stockholm Syndrome. And I said, no, ma'am. And so we started having this wonderful spirited debate. And I was like, you know what? You got to come on my show for us to do this on the show and have a confident conversation about this on the show. So I, of course, have all my points ready because, I'm a master debater. But first, I will yield the floor to you, Miss Danielle, and I will let you say, why you thought that and if you still do. So Beauty and the Beast, Stockholm Syndrome, or no? What's your take? What you talking?
Okay, first of all, I am not a master debater, so I'm like, I just enjoy my Disney movies. So I still stand by my Stockholm Syndrome.
Even now?
Yes, I watched it, y'all. I watched it fresh again yesterday because Beauty and the Beast was never one of my favorites.
You had changed your position. I just knew it. Okay.
It was never one of my favorite as a kid. I was always like, Ariel was my girl. So that was my movie. So I honestly didn't have a lot of comments when we were first talking. I was like, I think that's what it was, but you had some good stuff you shared. I was like, I don't know, let me go back and rewatch. And in rewatching, and here's the main reason I say this.
Okay.
Because when she's about to go, I think she's gonna go like look for her dad or something. Like it's snowing outside, and he says like, "Yeah, you can go." And her question to him is, "Oh, I don't have to be your prisoner anymore." And his response to that question is no. So I'm like, the fact that you called yourself a prisoner and he validated it. I'm like, you were a prisoner. Your dad was taken captive. You pulled a Katniss Everdeen and was like, I will volunteer as tribute and I will take his place.
Right.
But she was still a captive.
Okay.
She was still a captive. So anyway.
First of all, you actually have people agreeing with you in the comments. I don't know if you can see the comments.
I cannot see hold on. Let me see if I gotta click on
okay.
Oh, I can.
Okay. You have people agreeing with you in the comments. So first of all, Bree, you supposed to be my best friend, so I don't know why you on here talking about definitely Stockholm Syndrome, because it's not. So Bree is one of my best friends in the whole world. We've been friends for 20 years, and she just agreed with you. So
that's my biggest issue. Like the verbiage of prisoner was used.
Okay, fair enough.
She herself was in a position of captive, even though she got out of that little dungeon thing, like the basement thing with the hay and the brooms, and she got to go up to a beautiful room.
It was definitely a prison.
Beautiful clothes. She was given fantastic food. They sang her a whole song, "Be Our Guest," but she is still in a position of captive. She's still in a position taking on a posture of prisoner, and so he validates no, you're no longer my prisoner. So I'm like, okay, so he lets her free, but still that was still a prisoner.
Okay. I see what you're saying. However, you're definitely wrong. So here's the thing. You're definitely wrong. Bree, you wrong too. Okay, Bree says she developed feelings while she was under duress. She wasn't. She was okay. Woo!
I'll give you. Okay, I'm gonna hear your point because I got some other things to share. Go ahead.
Okay. So let's talk about the prisoner. I'm gonna concede that point. She was a prisoner.
Okay,
but she was a prisoner by choice. Let's remember. She went there. Her dad. First of all, can we just talk about the dad? Mm-hmm. He made me so mad. I rewatched it today, y'all. So all this is really fresh. The dad goes off because he's supposed to be this inventor. Mm-hmm. And he goes off, and poor Philippe, which is the horse, okay? Philippe is literally at this, like, do you remember like the little crossroads
fork in the
thing?
road?
It's very clear. Heaven or hell, light or dark, which one you want? And Philippe like, nah, dog, we need to go down the light. And Dad's like, no, this is a shortcut.
And I appreciate that about Philippe because they say horses can like tell energies about people. So I was like,
Yes.
oh, Philippe, he knows.
Philippe, no, it was very clear. So he goes down there, and then so he makes Philippe go down this road. Of course, then he ends up with the wolves and all this kind of stuff. And then got the nerve to tell Philippe, where have you brought us to, sir? So this is really, at the end of the day, no matter who wins this debate, which I will, definitely the daddy's fault. We're going to start there, okay? Because she would have never been in this situation without the daddy going there. So the dad ends up there after making Philippe go down to the darkness and the pits of hell, and ends up at the gates of the beast, right? So the beast is there minding his business, in his full-on depression. For him being under the spell. He did not go out and seek nobody. Okay. He enters into his home without permission, he being the daddy, without permission. And then the beast is like, yo, why you don't belong here? You need to get out. And he's like, I'm just trying to warm my feet. Beast get mad, throw him in there. Okay. Cool. I'm not mad at Beast. You run up in my house, you're gonna get more than thrown up in the dungeon. That's all I'm saying. Okay. So that's point one. So then Belle comes. Okay, I know y'all like, man, she getting along, but just stick with me, y'all. Stick with me. Belle comes. But Philippe, first of all, had enough sense, the horse, to get the heck up out of Dodge. She was like, I'm out. Not doing this. Goes back, and Belle's like, where's Dad? Belle goes to save her dad. The dad is the one that's actually the prisoner. Belle's like, he's sick. He finna die. Can we get him up out of here? Beast ain't been around no humans in over 5 years. So he don't know how to act and communicate. So he's like, nah, he ran up in here. He's staying. So she's like, all right, let's work out a deal. Take me instead. And then let my daddy go. Beast was like, she could help me out and do this spell. All right, cool. And then throw the daddy out. So she's a prisoner, but it's her daddy's fault, and she's a prisoner by choice. Because she probably, had she thought long and hard enough, she probably could have came up with another option that wouldn't have been, her staying there. So I don't think that prisoner is all the way the right word, but that is the word that she used. So we have to roll with it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Prisoner by choice.
She's a prisoner by choice. That was sacrificial love.
It is. But she wasn't just like walking through the forest like, I want to go be a prisoner. Like she really was. She really was like, out of the love for her dad, like, I'm going to take his place. The whole substitutionary atonement. Come on, no, kidding. She takes her dad's place. But I don't know if she was a prisoner by, to me, prisoner by choice is like, oh, I'm just walking through the forest and I have, out of nowhere, I just go, let me go be a prisoner. Like there was a prompted reason for her to take her dad's place. She wanted him to live. Yeah. He was sick. He's old. So
I mean, she could have went and got Gaston and them and came back. Like she didn't have to switch.
No, and I agree with that. Like I actually agree. Like even the one time when she goes and she runs out of the house.
Come on, go ahead and take my point, because that's what I was going to say.
The wolves or whatever. Like I feel like there were some other times that she could have left. But she still was in the posture and position of prisoner. Like, and he, and I was listening real closely to the songs. Here's the grace I have for Beast.
Okay. She sounds listening closely to the songs. Come on.
The spell says, the rose whatever's going to be done on his it's going to finish falling right on his 21st birthday.
That part, we ain't even going
to Lumiere, and Be Our Guest says for 10 years, we've been something. He references 10 years. So I'm like, this boy was 10 years old. Right. So now I'm like, the movie shouldn't even happen because
that part,
a little boy that doesn't let a witch into his castle is doing the right thing. So I think the story is weird.
He's a real victim if we really want to talk about it. He said stranger danger and then got a spell put on him.
Yeah, I think the whole thing is kind of ridiculous. Because I'm thinking I have an 8-year-old, I have a 12-year-old, I have a 6-year-old. So I'm like, if my 12-year-old boy doesn't let some old woman into our house on a cold, shaky, cold, dark night, I'm not mad at him. But again,
right, that part.
But again, the movie has to happen. That's what we keep saying in our house. Like the movie. So this is the story.
The movie has to happen.
They could have bumped the ages up. I would have had, but because he's so young, I do have some grace for him. But even still, like I've been telling my children since as they can understand my words well. Children, you have a choice. You have a choice in how you respond.
True.
You have a choice when you are angry. You have a choice of what words to use, what to do with your body. Like I'm trying to help them understand, like you're not just at the whim of your scenario, whatever it is. Now, in my own journey through counseling, I do understand we have our own narratives and we have our own stories that have constructed us and given us the tools or not given us the tools that we need to like practically live in a healthy way. That said, that beast had a choice. The beast had a choice to I won't say enslaved, but hold the dad hostage, and he had a choice not to. So maybe he holds him hostage for a time and then realizes like, comes to his senses, like, oh my gosh, this is just an old man who literally was just trying to warm his feet at night, and he found what's.
And I think he would have did that in time. Like I think after 3 days, he'd be like, all right, But he didn't get that time.
Why didn't he?
He didn't get the time. Bell showed up, and now he mad because now 2 people is here.
So
when he used to be here by himself,
activated.
He is going through trauma right now. Because one thing he said too, he said is what, like he said what, you come to stare at the beast, meaning other people in the past have probably came there just to look and stare and point at him.
Yeah, he's got wounds for sure. I will not take away his wounds. I will not take away his story, his trauma narrative. I will not take away any of that. I also don't want to let him fall back on that as an excuse, because I don't want my children to do the same thing. So when I think about this scenario, if I put in my children in this, like let's say, like even if it's not like a romantic, like my son, wants to take my place when I was, a prisoner of this beast. I would want my son to eventually be released by this beast. I would not want this beast to hold my son.
Well, yeah.
But this beast holds Belle. He does not willingly. It takes him a long time to willingly let her go. But even before that, she was still in the posture of captive, and he was in the posture and the position of I don't want to say what's the word for like what's the
warden or
whatever that word is. He was still in that position, and so positionally, I actually do. When I step back and kind of look at this at a broad scope, I do think it's a dangerous picture to be showing young children. Like I would not want my daughter or son to walk away from this and be like, we can just love and develop feelings for everybody. And it was fine that I was a prisoner. No big deal.
No.
That's what it is. Like, that's how the story ends. The story ends with like, and now she does come and like help him grow as a person, yes. But again, the inauguration of their relationship was the relationship of prisoner to warden.
Okay, I'll give you this. That's definitely how it started. I will, point 1 goes to Danielle. That's definitely how it started. The moment, this is where the shift happened in my mind. The moment she ran out, because she clearly said, first of all, shout out to her, because she was like, I'm prison, but I ain't got to do what you say.
Right.
She didn't come to dinner. She was like, I ain't going to dinner. This man lived over 3 flights of stairs. Right. Like, you come to dinner. She's like, no, I'm not. Right. So that's not prisoner mentality. Definitely ain't Stockholm syndrome, or anything like that. She still had her own mind and did what she wanted to do. Okay. Then at one point when she was very disobedient and went to the West Wing, and he literally said, do not go to the West Wing. It's the only part don't go to. I was like, man, these women just don't listen. Got another Eve on her hands. Lord have mercy. Okay. Anyway, so she goes over there. He get all up in her face and she run out. She like, I'm gone. Right. She was like, and she literally says, I don't care about any promise or deal or something like that. I'm leaving. From that moment on, I mean, you call a runaway prisoner once she was gone. And then at that moment where he comes and gets the wolves off of her and stuff like that, because he could have left her out there for dead.
That's right.
At that moment, and then he's like kind of laid out on the snow. She could have left him for dead and kept on going.
Absolutely.
She could have let. So at that moment, that's when the shift happens because she chooses to bring him back and is there. Even when she trying to patch up his wounds, they yelling back and forth at each other in the face. Like, you're not finna. It's like the shift had happened. So had she never left, maybe yes. But the moment she came back and made a choice to not only come back but to bring him back and all that, she was maybe because that was the original thing, but she was no longer prison. That was a choice.
Yeah, I get that it was a choice for her to return.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I don't know all what mindset was she in when she chose to return, like all those things.
Yes, y'all, we talking about Disney. I'm just saying.
And I actually questioned her choice.
Right.
You know, I had a moment of tension where I was like, you know, I do want my kids to care for people. People are there's humanity, and like you have wounds, and so I do think that, you know, it's complex and nuanced for sure. But I still am like, but the relationship inaugurated. You were a prisoner. Now she showed a kindness that he did not deserve in helping him to and he showed her a kindness as well. Like, I'm gonna go and like save you. Now again, I don't know, did he have ulterior motives? Did he want to save her so he could make sure his captive didn't escape? You know, like, he want to keep her.
No.
Did he want to like not be without his captive? So let me go get her. Right. And to me, that there's a lot of implications there that could be, you know.
True. I mean, true. But I think he would have been done when snatched it back up. Okay, our comments are like actually low key blowing up. So let me see. She developed feelings while she was under duress. She was not under duress. When she came back, she was not under duress. She got in that man's face and said, "You need to control your temper." And from that moment on, that man did not yell at her again. She was not under duress. Okay. Bree said, "Oh, be our guest." Okay. The only way it won't be is because sis talked back some. But that's what I'm saying. She booked the system a little bit, but she definitely fits the definition. I'm telling y'all, it shifted the moment she came back. She told the man, "You gonna quit yelling in my face," because she could have left out again. She could have.
And that's why I get confused as to why she did not.
Because there was a shift. After they went back and forth, and there was, you know how this happened. It was a shift. He was like, "Oh, okay." And she was like, "All right." And then she patched up that wound and was like, let's keep going here. You know, so, okay. Terry says, "I disagree that being a prisoner was her choice. Wasn't she trying to save her dad? She did not think she had choice." Yeah. So we kind of talked about that and then her coming back. So, but, okay, here's the other point that I think people are not seeing. She came back. She got in that man's face and said, "You ain't finna talk to me like this no more."
She did.
You gonna control this temper. Get your life together. That's basically what she thought. That's, you know, I'm paraphrasing. That's basically what she said. And then from that moment on, not only did he not yell at her again, this man built her a whole library. Mm-hmm. This man was, you know, feeding birds and pigeons and just turned into a whole new person doing what she wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm not saying he never did what he wanted to do either, but they actually sitting down together having a civilized dinner, because now you could control your temper. Okay, now we can sit down and have dinner. I wasn't coming to dinner when you acting like that, you know. So like, it's, if anything, at this point now, he whipped and he her prisoner, like, because he put all kinds of stuff for her. Like,
he's not her prisoner.
He was whipped. He built this girl a library. He didn't yell no more. His voice did not go over an octave too.
You know why else now that he probably was doing that? He was using her to get out of that spell.
No, he said, look, when she was out there feeding them birds, that man could have been inside in the West Wing still depressed.
How do we know he wasn't performing for the sake of the spell being broken?
He wasn't, because the song said, "There's something there that I ain't seen before." He said, "I never felt like this."
The Beauty and the Beast song, yeah.
He said, "I never felt like this before. This is different." Okay, she done pulled this man out of depression.
Okay, maybe so. Maybe she did. But again, if your child had this story, if your daughter was Belle, and she in the end is like, "I'm engaged and about to be married to this guy," are you going to be celebrating this choice, or are you going to be hesitant?
Okay. What
And
I
her relationship with the guy she's about to marry began with her being his prisoner.
began with being a prisoner, and that's where the story ended.
No, I'm saying if your daughter's story is Belle's exact story, are you
I
celebrating
honestly,
Antoinette?
okay. Oh, see, you finna get into some deep stuff, Danielle. Because low key, I honestly think this is most people's story. Now, maybe not a physical prisoner,
Okay.
right? But we know of stories to where people start off not liking each other, button heads, or whatever the case may be, and then all of a sudden,
not liking each other is very different than I was your prisoner.
I mean, okay.
She's like, well,
all right. So let me. Okay. All right. Okay. So if my daughter came to me and was like, "Mom, I'm finna marry the warden." Well, okay. Well, hold on. Thank you, Lord. Bring it back to my remembrance. We did have Orange Is the New Black, to where we saw these people was locked up and they was creating relationships that we was rooting for, and we weren't down with I don't know who's watching this. I was finna say the other guy name, not the one that the creeper, but
I don't know. I didn't watch that show, so I don't know the name.
The other one that was the warden, I forget his name. Like, we was all kind of rooting for him. So
I don't know the dynamics of that show, but I'm guessing that the prisoner, whoever was in prison, was in there for a cause. Like they were sentenced to jail.
Yes, and so was the daddy.
But the warden or whoever didn't imprison them. Like, he was just working for the system that imprisoned this person, right? That's my guess.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we don't have like too many real life. I mean, it is Disney.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm like. Would you celebrate this story if it was your daughter?
I would, knowing the whole story and then seeing how he started treating her later. Okay. I would proceed with a caution, but I would feel better if the story had ended at minute 15. Absolutely not. Okay. Absolutely not. But seeing how it developed and how he actually grew and changed, I would be lying if I wouldn't say I'd be cautious or hesitant, but I would be more open because of seeing actually how he himself changed.
Okay. And I'm definitely not one that's like, people can't grow, people can't change. I still think that this dynamic is unhealthy.
I have not swayed your mind at all. Okay.
At all.
Like, you said not. Okay.
But again, I give the, and how old is Belle? Do we know how old she is?
I don't know, but because if we start breaking down ages, all of this is ridiculous.
It's very, very
because you did say 10 years, and see, I thought it said 5, but you're right, it did say 10 because I was thinking he started at 16.
No,
I know this rail is supposed to be broken at 21.
And I think there might be an inconsistency in the film, maybe, but in the Be Our Guest song, Lumiere does say, "For 10 years we've been something and something dum 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 dum," whatever the words are. But he says 10 years. So I'm like,
somewhere I got 5, but that's okay. 5 or 10, even if he was 16, that's still,
it's very concerning. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. Okay,
hold
on.
But even still, and he, the tools he did or didn't have, again.
What? Hold on. What did these comments say? That just means she crazy, maybe a little schizophrenic or personality disorder. Belle ain't right at the end of the day.
That's your friend.
A friend I'm gonna disown. Belle is right.
Belle got a lot going on. Belle is an outcast in the town. Belle don't have no friends.
Who else she posted? Think about that the closest person Belle had to fall in love with was a whole beast, because she walking through the town at the beginning of the movie and everybody like, oh, this girl, she's pretty, quirky, but she's odd. Yeah. For reading?
I know. A woman who reads?
For reading?
I know.
And I kept waiting for them to say like why she's odd, and they just kept saying she has their nose in the book. Like, you got some special guests over there?
Like, I know. Yes, I don't know what he's telling me. He's asking me something about what I'm talking about. Yeah. Belle.
Tell him to come on.
He says Belle is 17. He looks at
Belle is 17.
Wikipedia. He says she's 17.
From Wikipedia, I don't know if we can trust Wikipedia.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how we would know that.
Because I don't know if they ever said her age, but okay. But yeah, 17. Ooh, so that's. But if we're throwing the ages, it really gets jacked up. Okay, so we ain't gonna throw in the age.
It does. It gets really tricky and complicated. But again, going back to just, I mean, even a 10-year, my children at 10, the beast is 10 when he gets his curse. They know not to to put people as captives, to put people as prisoners.
Okay, true. Okay, but wait a minute. Yes, but no. Because at 10, they would know that, right? And because you're still there nurturing and loving and all that kind of stuff and showing them the way. But at 10 or 11, by themselves for another 10 years with staff that are changing or something, where are the parents?
I don't know. Yeah. Why weren't they there?
You know what I'm saying? By themselves. So, and then people done came to just look at you over the years, because the way he said that, like, you came to stare at me, like, that means that has happened before. Okay. So people done came and stared at you and gawked at you and messed with you, probably threw stuff at you for over 10 years or right at 10 years.
Has that happened before? Or is that his insecurity? Because the whole town was really shocked when the dad came around talking about a beast. They didn't believe him.
I think both. I think it's both. I think, yeah. Because, like, you came to stare at the beast. Yeah, I think it's both. It's definitely insecurity for sure.
I mean, he's for sure wounded. He's for sure hurt. I just go.
Hey. But you gotta think about that. But he's been by himself for 10 years. So right now at 11, yes, because he didn't do nothing to the witch to put a spell. He was just like, you ugly, I'm out, right? He didn't do anything to her. Yeah. But now he's been by himself in solitude. Yeah.
I also have an issue with his friends. I also Mr. Cogsworth and Lumiere and all the people. Because they all can say, hey, watch your temper. But nobody says, let these people go free. I got issues.
They did say let him. Well, they said Master no. Like they tried. Once he was in there, it was like, this okay, we out. But he's like on the way, they was in there. But his friends also tried to, the clock, I forget the clock's name.
Cogsworth.
But the clock was the only sensible one, was like, y'all shut up. Y'all know ain't nobody supposed to be up in here. Shut up. Yeah. Like, and Lumiere was like, oh, it's fine. And he the one done sent up there, put the man in the man's chair. Put the man in the man's chair. That's just straight disrespectful. I would have thrown you somewhere too. And you got to think about it like, that's like, have you ever seen that Chris Rock special where he talked about the daddy getting the big piece of chicken?
Yes.
That's what I think about every single time I see that. It's like, he didn't give that man a big piece of chicken. You can't put this man in another man's chair.
Okay, I can see that. But again, if they're able to delineate that kind of right from wrong, then he should be able to as well. He's got adult figures around him. He doesn't have parent figures, but he has adult figures around him that are able to help.
Adult figures who are servants to him and been servants to him since he was 11.
Yeah, they are servants. They're still adult. They're still adults though in their ability to think and logic through things. Now, whether he listens or not, that's on him. But they're still like, Beast, you've been around adult figures enough to know some stuff. And you're not operating. You got attachment issues. You got your parents. You got trauma. Your story is not easy. I'm not saying any of that.
But you should know not to throw somebody in prison.
You should know not to throw somebody in as a prisoner because they were cold.
Well, with Belle, he gave her a bed and a full closet. Like, he really glammed her up.
Again, I'm not going to applaud that because if I get to and you give me a bed and a full closet, I'm not celebrating you.
Belle was in a lose-lose situation though, because at home she had Gaston who was constantly assaulting her and sexually harassing her. Yeah. It was absolutely ridiculous. And then she come here and she trying to save her daddy. And so, I mean, she really just didn't. Everybody in the town thinks she odd. Like, for real.
And she does. She has her own different things going on there. Like she's the peculiar one because she reads whatever that is.
Weird.
That is weird. But and so she doesn't have a lot of friends. So I'm sure that like there was a gap, a missing piece in her that might have, made her come back to Beast, after he saves her from the wolves. Like, you've got your own insecurity, your own attachment issue there that brought you back. Because that and you were showing, you were being kind to him in your humanity. But even that was like, someone else with different tools and a different story might have run for their lives.
So you want her to lead the Beast for dead?
The justice in me absolutely does. Yes. Now, yeah, that I am glad that the Lord knew. The Lord knew what decade to have me be born in. I think there's lots of things in history that had I had to go through those scenarios, I would have
Yeah.
been all about vengeance, all about like I have an alter ego. Her name is Jade Morgan, and she is a female assassin. Okay. Like I love female assassin movies. I
Oh
love
yeah,
Beatrix
those are
Kiddo,
good.
Kill Bill. I love Long Kiss Goodnight. Gina Davis played that role. Beatrix, well, it was Uma Thurman played anyway.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm all about
love
like
Bill.
women go and win and go.
Mhm.
So yeah, and
So you want her to pull out a sword and go ahead and go to work?
I want her to go full JL from the Bible on him and chop off his head.
Come on, JL. Come on. Put a peg through his head. See, you thought I didn't know about that.
Oh yeah, pin
Yeah.
through his head. No, it was a pin. Yes.
Come on now. All right. See, y'all gotta read your word. Y'all don't even know about that.
I want her to go
Bible
full
is gutter.
Yael. Yael's name means Yahweh is Lord. I want her to go there and pin his head.
All right. Well, I guess I didn't change your mind. I really just knew that after you saw it, you were like, "Oh yes, this. She is not." But shout out to my girl Bill, because whether she got Stockholm syndrome or not, she got some goods out of the situation. She got a full library, okay, made just for her. All right, she got a full wardrobe closet. She upgraded to a castle. She was in a little 2-bedroom house.
But you know who also did that? Who also got that same ending? I forgot her name, but the woman from Coming to America.
Yeah, I forget her name too. What is her name in Coming to
I don't
America?
know, but she is now the Queen of Zamunda, and she did not have to be a prisoner to get there.
Yeah, but she had to deal with a Gaston.
She did.
Oh my gosh! Fine. Okay.
Prince Hakeem did not, enslave her, or he did not make her his prisoner.
He did, but they show was trying to make old girl though the one to bark like a dog. There's always one. Okay, well, that's true. She did get out. That's true. Well, that's a whole different level though, right there. But that's true. But Zamunda also wasn't. He started off being 21 and had to go look for love. He did not have a spell on him from the age of 11.
True. Yeah.
I really thought I had changed your mind.
Mm-mm.
I'm disappointed in myself.
Nope. I'm gonna stay with my girl Ariel and Moana. They will forever be my Disney ladies.
I love Moana.
That's we talked about that more too. Like I have whole meditations around
to Moana. Oh yeah, no, Moana's the truth. We don't even have close to time to get into this tonight, but the other one that I was like, not really.
What?
We kind of switched on was Encanto.
Oh, I love Encanto. We're gonna have to do a part 2 or something, because don't get me started.
We're gonna have to do a part 2. We're gonna have to do
but a lot of the characters need counseling in Encanto too. Let's be real about that.
Yeah. There's definitely a character I identify with for sure, but
oh, I loved it. The first time I watched it, I was like, I don't get it. What's happening? It took me a couple of watches with closed captions so I could capture all, so I could really, get all the lyrics and dialogue. And I was like, oh, this is amazing.
Okay, so part 2 coming, y'all. If y'all like this, I can talk about Disney almost every day. So part 2 will be coming. And I guess for me, it's Encanto.
What's your issue with Encanto? Is that you just don't like it?
It wasn't like I feel like all it was hyped to be. Like, I just feel like I was like, I mean, I've heard the songs enough time, being at school with the kids, but
sure.
And there's parts I got, but I was, but now my girl, my strong girl, I rise with her.
Oh, Louisa? Yes.
Mm-hmm. I rise with her. I understood her care. I was all okay. She making a movie for me because I get it.
When I heard her song, I was like, oh, this is women of color. This is what we do.
All day, every day. So, well, before we go, gosh, I feel like I still won this debate, but I guess it's a draw because I didn't change your mind. So before we go, did you have anything that you wanted to promote or say, anything that you have coming up?
Yeah, so I teach online virtual yoga classes. My website's wellwithdanielle.net, and you can learn about the classes. The restorative class that you mentioned earlier, I teach that every Saturday at 10 a.m.
Okay.
Central. And it really is, a lot of my clients call it like yoga is the new nap time.
Mhm.
I like to call it like it's a practice of being still and knowing that God is God. Like that's what we're doing. The other thing that one of the biggest things I do is I have an offering called Mind, Body, Soul, where I come in and create or facilitate a customized wellness experience for groups, churches, staff, schools, organizations. It could be, it's a lot of ministries, different things. And I come in and I'll teach a wellness workshop on various topics. We'll do some breath work, some mindfulness, and we'll kind of experience some of that rest and restoration together in that offering. So that's called Mind, Body, Soul. You can read more about it on my website. So if you have a group and you're like, oh, I'd love for you to come out and speak to my group or serve my women's ministry, or like, oh, my staff at my job could use this.
Yeah.
I'd love to learn how I can support.
What's the website? I'll put it up here. What's the website?
Wellwithdanielle.net.
Nope, I can type. Hold on, y'all. Don't judge me. Okay, there we go. Is that right? Did I get it right? Well, with
Yep, that's it.
Okay, so here's the website, y'all. She is amazing. Check her out. I've done the restorative yoga. It's awesome. She does so much more than that as well, and she does everything right except for know the correct meaning behind Beauty and the Beast. But it's fine. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really, really appreciate it. When we did it at the retreat, I was like, oh, you gotta come. So I'm so glad we're finally able to do this. And I had such a great time with you. I hope you did the same.
Same. So it was so fun being here.
Thank you so much. And y'all, I hope that y'all had a good time. We're going to have to go back and read all these comments. Somebody said he was thirsty. I guess talking about the beast.
The beast.
Y'all tripping. Thank you so much, y'all. Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate the love and support. Keep watching out for things that I have coming in as well. And y'all have a blessed night. Be blessed. And always remember, be a blessing to someone. Peace.